From his tremendous effort, likewise Beru eliminates him, and then we return to the Korean S-rank hunters, who at last meet the queen, who indeed is very well protected. Instructor Ma, acting as the tank, and the team quickly grows confident. Baek, knowing there is no reason whatsoever to hold back, releases his true power, transforming himself into a beast. He easily eliminates 2 royal guardians, astonishing our blonde, since it is the first time she has ever seen that transformation. Now, as for the hunter they brought to record the entire fight, he is warned that he is having an audience of more than 80% of the population, so they ask him to move closer to record everything. Here, our healer stops him, asking him to stay behind him, telling him that this battle will become far more intense. For their part, all Korean citizens were watching the live broadcast, amazed to see top-tier S-rank hunters fighting in complete harmony. We return to the combat. Here, our magical archer does not hold back and fires a large number of arrows that go exclusively toward the enemies. The redhead burns them alive, and Baekjeong attacks, piercing them with his claws. And so, after some time, they finally wipe out the entire royal guard, making it now time to fight hand-to-hand against the queen herself. She does not hesitate to attack, but Instructor Ma defends them. Lim attacks from a distance with her arrows, and Baek slashes at the ant's chest with his claws. She obviously does not remain with her arms crossed, releasing a gas that burns their skin. But when everything already seemed lost, they are saved by the healer, who emphasizes that as long as he is with them, they will always be able to rise again. The queen realizes this and immediately goes to attack him. Ma defends him, and the others take advantage to attack. Here, Choi goes way overboard, throwing an explosive fireball which, although the impact is extremely powerful, does not damage the Ant Queen at all. Seeing herself at a tremendous disadvantage, she tries to escape, but obviously the hunters do not allow it. Here, Baek and Ma catch her, asking the hunter Cha Hae-in to finish this. And so our favorite blonde finally enters the scene, launching herself forward with unmatched speed, while the healer reinforces her with strengthening magic. In just a single instant, Cha cuts off all of the ant's little legs, takes flight with a huge leap, and imbues her sword with great power, managing with a beautiful slash to tear off the Ant Queen's head. All of this obviously leaves our blonde extremely exhausted, but she quickly recovers upon seeing that her enemy has been eliminated. Likewise, the people of Korea cheer enthusiastically for this achievement. The other Korean hunters are also seen happy, so much so that even Byun-hee smiles, since they finally avenge the death of their dear friend. At this, Baekjeong also rejoices. It is clear that the 3 of them shared a very beautiful friendship. Meanwhile, in the registry systems, it is reported to Goto that all the ants are returning to the nest, and that communication interference is no longer functioning, at the same time that all the flying ants manage to break through Choi's wall of flames. Here, the healer remembers that the Ant Queen let out a scream, meaning all her children came to her aid. Baek calms them, warning that something is approaching, since the other ants will be the least of their worries. And yes, indeed, he is referring to Beru, who has the appearance of a black humanoid ant. Upon sensing its presence, the blonde collapses, knowing that this monster is not common and ordinary at all. Hunter Ma, for his part, tries to attack. Yet after taking only a few steps, he feels imminent death, so he stops, letting Beru pass. Seeing that his mother has died, Beru begins to devour her body and lets out a scream of despair in his mother's name. In just a single instant, he sends Cha flying. Instructor Ma also tries to stop him, but Beru dances around him effortlessly, ripping off both of his arms. And just by walking, he also eliminates Choi and Baek. At this moment, the archer tries to take advantage, but Beru, like an absolute monster, catches the arrow with just one hand. And yes, he did this without even looking. Then he approaches the hunter and sends him flying with a single blow. But when he was about to strike a second time, Instructor Ma appears to push him away, rejoicing that a healer has arrived, and on top of that, one of the highest level. It turns out that Byun-ho is using the camouflage skill, which keeps him safe while he heals the other hunters. The only drawback is that he cannot move, yet that is not a problem for him. Thus, Hunter Ma continues the battle, but Beru treats him like a dirty rag, smashing his head into the ground. Baek, who was watching all this, becomes violently enraged and launches himself to attack. Beru distracts him by throwing a body at him, grabs him by the neck, and asks who his king is. Baek tries to resist, but Beru's strength is overwhelmingly superior. Beru speaks to him in Korean, stating that killing his soldiers is not punishment enough. So he repeats the question, "Where is your king?" Obviously, Hunter Yanju says nothing. Beru senses someone stronger nearby and quickly heads toward him. Here, Baek gets back up, catches his breath, and wonders if that ant is referring to Goto Ryuji. On the other hand, Goto was searching for his companions, asking about Charlie and Delta, but they also could not contact them. Along the way, they encounter someone who died brutally massacred. At that moment, he receives a call from President Matsumoto, who asks the reason for not reporting at the scheduled time. Goto responds that they suffered some casualties. This seems unexpected to the man, since he remembers that they were ordered to fight under specific conditions in order to minimize risk. But as long as Goto is there, some losses are acceptable. He then asks whether their allies are at the Queen's location, referring to the Korean S-rank hunters. Goto confirms it, reporting that the interference stopped working and that the ants began returning to their nest. The man on the call finds this foolish and asks about the survival probability of the Korean hunters. Goto, considering what they are facing, answers that it is 0%. The man finds this wonderful, since they can claim they helped the Koreans and then return to Jeju Island to take the glory of closing an S-rank gate. Thus, he orders Goto to withdraw and regroup with the Second Fleet. Goto relays this to his companions, but when he least expects it, he is attacked by Beru. He blocks the strike with his sword, but his companion is not so lucky. Seeing this situation, Goto tells Joseon to get out of there. The man obeys, knowing he would be of no help. Then Beru begins emitting even more power, asking if Goto is the king. Goto finds this interesting and confirms that he is indeed the king of the humans. Here, Beru becomes serious. Goto is shocked by the tremendous magical power Beru emits, so much so that it reminds him of Jin-woo, and with that, he peacefully accepts his death. And yes, Beru not only cuts through his sword, but also kills him. Meanwhile, at the main nest, the remaining ants and guardians have arrived. The S-ranks are in terrible condition, barely holding on, but when everything seemed completely lost, from their shadows appear our protagonist's soldiers. They defend them, and Jin-woo realizes they are in trouble, thus switching places with one of his shadows. The Korean hunters are obviously shocked, wondering what these dark soldiers are. Here's when Tusk, Iron, and Tank make their grand appearance, quickly devouring the nearby ants. Likewise, our Jin-woo appears beside the hunters, walking calmly. Baek and Choi wonder how he arrived here, but given what they are witnessing, they are the only ones who can see him, since everyone else watching through the broadcast can no longer do so, as the signal has been cut. Because of this, Go Gun-hee is informed that the priority is now to check if the hunters are okay, and then gather information. Our blonde follows this. However, the company broadcasting the battle receives an overwhelming number of complaint calls from viewers who cannot enjoy the fight. An employee reports this to the boss, who explains that nothing can be done, since there are no images and no contact. Even so, against all odds, he asks the cameraman on site to explain what is happening, despite the terrible signal. The message barely gets through, all distorted. Obviously, the cameraman can do nothing. At that moment, Jin-woo orders Iron to do his job. As the tank that he is, Iron draws the attention of all the ants. With this, Jin-woo sends the others to attack, and they put on an elegant demonstration of their overwhelming power. Jin-woo leaps back to the hunters. Baek takes the opportunity to ask when he arrived on the island. Our feline-like hunter tells them he will explain later, because the priority now is healing them. He pulls out a healing potion and gives it to them directly in the mouth. Yes, our protagonist is a true gentleman. As a result, most of them recover, except for Cha Hye-in, for whom the potion does not work. Jin-woo remembers this happened to him before and realizes it is because her wound is severe, and on top of that, her aura keeps weakening. Taking this into account, he tells the hunters they need to leave and he will open a path. But here, countless flying ants appear. Since there are too many, this annoys our protagonist, who now has to think of a new plan. Meanwhile, at the Hunters Association, Go Gun-hee is informed of all the problems occurring, all of which started with the appearance of the black ant. He makes a swift decision, ordering medical and rescue teams to be prepared immediately. They comply at once. The president sits down and laments his age, wishing he could fight alongside them, even if only a little. He admits that he has never hated his body and heart so much before, and he prays that the hunters are safe. However, the one not doing well is Jin-ah's television, since the annoying little sister of our protagonist is hitting it to restore the signal without success. Even her mother angrily tells her to stop. Upset, Jin-woo goes to her room, deciding to keep investigating on her phone. It is clear her mother is extremely patient. Elsewhere, Ryuji informs the president of the Japanese Hunters Association that they lost Goto's signal, and based on the last call and enemy power readings, he has died. This truly angers Matsumoto, who wonders what in the world is happening on that blasted island. Evidently, on site, Jin-woo's shadows continue their work. Jin-woo notices the shadow soldiers are weaker than the ants and considers reinforcing them, but there are too many witnesses, including a cameraman. Realizing the situation, he abandons that thought and tells the hunters he will open a path by force, asking them to follow Tusk. The other shadows will hold back the ants, and any that slip through must be eliminated by the hunters, which poses no problem whatsoever for the Korean S-ranks. They agree to everything Jin-woo says. He also asks them not to speak about what they are about to see. He approaches an ant, preparing to extract its shadow. Choi, seeing this, confirms the rumors. But before Jin-woo can begin, he senses the power of someone formidable, while all the ants part ways for their king, who makes his entrance like an absolute menace. Yes, the great Beru. Baek realizes that Bastard is back, meaning imminent death, and that he has already killed Goto. Here Beru begins speaking the human language, stating that outside he did not find his king, and he seriously asks whether the one called king is here. Jin-woo hears this, and along with what Baek said, concludes that it was this black humanoid ant that caused the loss of the shadow he placed on Goto. And like an absolute Chad, he approaches the monster, despite others trying to stop him. Standing face to face with the great Beru, they exchange intense looks. The massive black ant asks if he is the king of humans. Jin-woo is not frightened in the slightest by an insect that can talk. Beru recognizes that Jin-woo has a piercing aura and lets out a scream to the four winds. But our protagonist only mocks him, saying he is still an insect. Seeing this, Baek and Choi believe not even Jin-woo can defeat this enemy. At this moment, the cameraman finally manages to restore the camera, starting to broadcast again. The broadcasting company rejoices at recovering the signal. Even though they had been transmitting with a 1-minute delay, the boss knows this battle will decide Korea's fate. Thus, he announces that from now on, it will be live. Thanks to this, everyone close to Jin-woo can see him live, shocked that he is facing the Ant King. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone, including his little sister. Jin-ah immediately tells her mother. Also watching live is President Go Gun-hee, who is so happy he breaks his chair. Woo Jin-chul wonders how Jin-woo arrived, but the president no longer cares, as he now trusts that boy. And so we return to the start of this confrontation. Beru wastes no time and throws the first punch. The hunters say that Jin-woo, as a mage, underestimated the enemy since that blow landed cleanly. Even Beru thought the same. But when the smoke clears, they are shocked to see that Jin-woo is unharmed. Jin-woo does not waste time and uses ruler's authority, slamming Beru into the ground, then closing his fist and delivering a crushing punch to his face. This astonishes the Korean hunters, who did not expect Jin-woo to be this strong, now doubting whether he is truly a mage. Beru recovers and throws a powerful blow, which Jin-woo stops as if it were nothing. Thus, they exchange several punches. The cameraman knows his task is to stand firm. But despite being an A-rank hunter, he must concentrate and brace himself so